our website, wilmingtonchamber.org. So now I'd like to introduce to you all the director of the Swain Center for Executive Education and Economic Development, Richard Walsh. Richard, welcome.
Thank you, Natalie. It's great to be with you, and it's great to be with our members.
Thank you so much. I would love it if you could just tell the folks who are watching a little bit about the Swain Center, for those who might not know, and tell us a little bit about you. You're relatively new to the community.
Although it feels like it's been a lot longer the last few months, Natalie. I'm sure everyone on the line can attest. But just real quickly, the Swain Center was formed just over 10 years ago by a gift from David and Diane Swain, with the mission to provide executive education and economic development for the region. As you know, UNCW has a legacy of partnering with this community, and the Swain Center's vision is to help further strengthen that bridge between UNCW, the Cameron School of Business, and the business community. We have a very talented team and can leverage incredibly talented faculty, strong leadership at the university, as well as top consultants from our area across the country and even internationally. As far as myself, I spent 1/3 of my career in industry, both at GE and AT&T, 1/3 in consulting with the Center for Creative Leadership, and 1/3 of my career in higher education, where both universities are committed to building strong partnerships with the business community. In all these roles, I focused on strengthening leadership and supporting economic development.
That's super. So let's take it back to the Swain Center. And by the way, we're glad that you're here. I said relatively new. I've only been here 3 years. So relative to me, you're new, but relative to a lot of folks, we're both still new, right? So could you share with the folks watching, what are some of the resources that our members and other business leaders might be able to access through the Swain Center?
You bet, Natalie. The Swain Center produced complimentary short videos and resources on what leaders told us are the most critical leadership topics today. We call these resources the Excellence in Leadership series, and I will talk more about this in a minute. The Swain Center also converted our most popular programs to online programs, so leaders can now strengthen their leadership from home. For example, we now offer a series of business analytics programs online to help leaders analyze data, assess the impact of the pandemic, and anticipate emerging industry trends. We offer project management online for leaders to help drive the most critical initiatives throughout their organization. We also offer specialized programs like Leadership Essentials for Nurses, that is focused on supporting one of our most valuable first responders, and for them to strengthen their own leadership when it's most convenient for them. The Swain Center will now offer one pro bono coaching session for any senior leader who is addressing today's challenges while preparing themselves and their organizations for the future.
That's great. Could you tell us, you said you'd come back to it, could you tell us a little bit more about the Excellence in Leadership series?
You betcha. After speaking with over 100 leaders in the area, we saw a need for high-value resources. To start, we created 30 different videos on topics that leaders said are most important for them now. We did this through a strategic partnership between the Swain Center, the Forte Institute, HW Consulting, and Cassian Films. We brought in experts in their fields, Hoop Morgan, myself, Lori Harris, and Lynn Weitzel. Both Cody and Christina at Cassian Films helped us pull it all together into a series of well-produced 5-minute videos. All of this was done as a service to the community. And I am very proud of how a group of local leaders came together so quickly in order to bring such high-value leadership resources to our community and its business leaders.
That's great. So you said they were created as a result of asking business leaders what they were looking for. So so sort of as a transition to what we're all dealing with today, are there some leadership trends that you are seeing in particular also as a result of the COVID-19 crisis?
You betcha. Well, I think we can all agree this is unprecedented times, Natalie. We all heard that from our regional economist, Dr. Adam Jones, as well as our economist in residence, Dr. Tom Simpson. Today, leaders need short, relevant, and applicable development and best practices. In today's environment, it's challenged for leaders just to stay focused. Many are doing incredible things, and some are struggling. Those that are moving forward are engaging their people, communicating up, down, and across their organizations. They are taking this time to get close to their customers and clients. They are reducing their costs in some areas while making strategic investments in others. They are analyzing large amounts of data to closely watch their company's performance and anticipate new industry trends.
How has it changed now, or is it the same and we just think it's different because everything feels so different right now?
It sure does. Soon, leaders will need to look beyond the next 30 days to be more strategic in where they spend their time and energy. They'll need to clarify direction, where their organization is going and how we get there, to rapidly align their resources and build strong commitment throughout their organization.
Yeah, sure. You got a shout out on Facebook. Ruth Smith has said,
Oh,
thank you for your leadership and innovation. So Ruth, thank you for watching today. So what about some advice that you might provide to those folks who are watching and our members later on when they might watch the video? Any advice from some of the compilation of the videos or the conversations that you all have with other business leaders?
sure. There are basic truths about leadership. The first is that great leaders are not born great leaders. The very best leaders work at it every day. I was fortunate to work with some amazing leaders, and one of them was the most celebrated CEO in New York City. Ken Chenault led American Express during and after 9/11. The company lost 11 employees on that one day. He first called together his top leaders and told them, how we lead in the next 90 days will forever define us as leaders. He then asked them to think long and hard on what kind of leader they want to be. He did a lot of amazing things during that week, but the most impactful to me was when he called every one of those 11 families. That was an unprecedented time, and this is an unprecedented time. Moving forward, there are two very important roles for a leader to play. And I often, when I'm working with an executive in a coaching relationship, we talk about this. The first is to help define reality, and the second is to provide hope. That's the simple advice I have for our members. Help define reality and provide hope. And however way we at the Swain Center can help, we will. For now, there are several videos I would encourage folks to review. And they are How to Lead in a Crisis and Reimagining Leadership. And each week, we'll add 3 or 4 more leadership topics for folks to take a look at.
Could you share a little bit of maybe some of the highlights from either or both of those videos for the folks who are watching us now?
You bet. Sure, Natalie. First of all, How to Lead in a Crisis. I had the opportunity to work with a former colonel of the U.S. Army, Gene Klon. Gene had assignments all across the globe, and before he retired at NATO. And he spoke to me about leadership in crisis and leading in crisis. And he shared 3 key elements. He said, above all, communication. We often assume, hey, I've been communicating, I've been sharing this information until I feel like I'm talking in my sleep. But the truth is that many individuals don't hear it the way we believe we're communicating it. So what I always encourage leaders to do is just communicate and perhaps shift the message in different ways. The second is vision, in terms of where are we going, how do I play a part, where do we need to move? And the third is taking time to build relationships and trust. We are often, as leaders, very busy. We're trying to respond to thousands of emails at a time. But really, our role is to take that time and to connect with those people who are most important to us. Not only our employees, but our customers, our clients, our suppliers. The second is around reimagining leadership. We often think about leadership as one person, or maybe a small group of people, but that isn't the case. Everyone in an organization can and needs to exhibit leadership. The role of a leader is how to help bring that forward and watch and see how the impact of leadership is having in their organization. And there's three ways you can do that. One is identify is everyone clear on the direction? Again, where are we going? Second is alignment. Are the resources aligned around that direction? People, process, systems, technology, are they aligned? And third, how do we build and gain commitment across the organization? Those are the two high-level elements of those two videos, Natalie.
Well, and so if our members wanted to see the whole, not just the highlights, how might they do that?
They can just jump on uncw.edu/Swain, and that'll bring them right to the website, and any member of our team is prepared to help find the resources that they need.
Super. Richard, you mentioned coaching and other resources. How would a leader access those things in addition to these videos?
So great question. All they need to do is once they get on the website, there'll be a button around coaching services, and they just hit a button, send me their email, and we'll follow up and assign them a top
Fantastic.
coach.
You mentioned Dr. Jones earlier, our local
friend.
economist.
Yep.
Everybody loves Dr. Jones. I've had him now. I watched him speak via the Business Journal's Facebook Live event a couple of weeks ago. And so then I asked him to share that same information with our public policy committee. And then yesterday with a group of my partners as we're talking about safe reopening and economic recovery. And he's just amazing. You said our friend, and I do think that everyone sees Adam as a friend, and he doesn't speak like a traditional economist. He's intriguing and entertaining at the same time. And so it's always great to have him as a part of a program. You're fortunate to count him as a resource on the Swain Center team.
I agree, and I also add super smart. I mean, he's just incredibly smart, incredibly gifted, and he can share information straightforward, and even someone like myself can
I
understand
know the
it.
feeling, Richard. I know the feeling, but I don't think of you in that way at all. I think we're very fortunate to have you and the team at the Swain Center. We've found you to be great partners, and I would reiterate to those of you watching that we at the Chamber consider the Swain Center and the team there great partners. We are all looking toward the same end, right? And that is empowering business people to grow their businesses, which then in turn grows our economy. Richard, is there anything else you'd like to add before we close things out?
No, I would just like to send it back to you, Natalie. You've been an incredible support of me coming on, and I know the strategic partnership that you've built with both UNCW, the Cameron School of Business, and certainly the Swain Center. So my hat off to you.
Oh, thank you, Richard. I enjoy working with you all. Again, just want to remind you that we will bring you topics as you tell us that you either have a topic you think would be of interest to business leaders in our community, or if you have a topic that you're looking for that you haven't seen, let us know, and we will invite someone to come on and share those resources. Reminders also that we have our Google Marketing event on Friday. If you want to get registered for that, it's wilmingtonchamber.org, the events page, and you can get get registered for that, get some free Google marketing credits from Google if you participate in that event. And we also have digital dialogues every week where small, intimate groups of chamber members can come together for networking purposes, because there is still business happening, even though there's a significant amount of business that is not allowed to happen with our stay-at-home orders. There is business still happening, and if you need to connect with other business people in the community in order to do your business, then consider the digital dialogues an opportunity to do that. And again, don't ever hesitate to let us know if there's something that you need, if there's information that you're looking for, and stay tuned for our communications coming out via email and for the next Facebook Live event. And with that, I hope you guys all have a great rest of the week.